Hey everyone, welcome back. I know people have been wondering where I've been at, and I'm here to break down why I've kind of like gone missing, I guess, from the Tales of Wind world. And the truth is, I just haven't really been very motivated to play the game lately. Reason being is because I think there's a few issues with the current state of the game. Not exactly, but I'm gonna talk about it, or reasons that I have for my thoughts on the current state of the game. So I actually don't think that RR is a bad experience overall in general. I think it is better than Region 1 and Region 2 players' experience coming up. However, I do think there are multiple issues that stem, and I'm going to go ahead and break down why I'm not enjoying Tales of Wind, Radiant Rebirth as much as I was in the past. So the first things first is servers. EST and EU Radiant Rebirth stopped getting servers. They kind of made the INTL servers, according to what I was told and what I've been processing. That's fine, whatever. But then INTL servers were on the EU time zone, so then they became a part of the EU region. So now EU has three different server regions, being like EUR, RREU, and INTL, whereas EST just has ESTRR. And when you go to the squad ranks and you look for the servers, you'll see EST 6, 1, 27, and 42, and that is it. There are no more servers outside of these four. Now, the reason I have a problem with this is because it just makes it so much more boring. Like it's like you kind of know that there's not going to really be any competition later on unless someone starts whaling it up. But you kind of just there's no new faces, no new competition, server competition. Like at this point, just merge everyone into one server and have the end server competition be there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel. I feel like at this point you have to just merge them all into one server and just kind of say have at it. I don't know how they work out Sky, fix that, but overall, I think that's the idea. So that's my thoughts on the servers. Like, there's just no servers for EST to really thrive off of when you have four servers. You can't merge any because if you merge any, it ruins the Sky, supposedly. We could just do a one Sky, three servers, but even then, it's like, are you going to merge 27 and 42? Well, now 1 and 6 aren't going to get merged, and 6 needs to merge more than 1 does because 1 is the most active server in RR. And 27 and 42 are going to be the weaker servers regardless. So anyways, that's my first issue. My second issue is there's not really much to do once you finish your daily / weeklies. Like take today, for example, we go and we do APOC 1 through 5, and then I do 6 Misty runs, and boom, what do I do for the week? Well, I mean, that's done. I mean, what else is there to do? Devil's all, no, that's done too. Like, what is there to do? There is really nothing to like kind of daily do until you get Starfall, and Starfall doesn't come out until level 115. While I do enjoy Gate a lot, like I've always talked about Gate as my favorite content in the game. I think Gate and Starfall are both my 1 and 2 contents in the entire game. But Gate doesn't come out until level 95, and we are currently like level 92, 91, 92 cap. So we get 93 in a week, I think. So we get it close. We get it soon sometime, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. There's just not really anything to like do when you log onto the game. And I know for some people that is like a good thing per se, but like for someone like me, if I'm building for PvE, I want there to be PvE to do. And until Gate comes out, I feel like there's really nothing, not Gate, until Starfall comes out, I feel like there's really no PvE to just be doing casually on your own for fun. And I know that there's Raccoon's Bakery as well, like level 100 or so now. That is also part of that that you can just do now. But again, like level 100. And the wait times for these are just so long that it makes it really hard to just kind of just sit there in like limbo, just waiting like, oh man, when is it going to come out? Oh, 2 months for Gate. All right, I got to wait 2 months. Okay. And then Gate's here. All right. Well, we cleared Gate. We did 40. We're doing speed runs, but what next? Our Raccoon's Bakery at level 100. All right. We got like 5 more months for that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a very long wait. And again, to anyone who's just played Region 1, there's 2 reasons I don't play Region 1. The first one is I actually wanted to build my own account from the start. I feel like I like building accounts, and in Region One, once you hit like a certain limit at this point in the game, if you're not a free to play, you basically just have to like kind of whale because you already have almost everything else maxed out. So it's kind of just like 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 that. There's that, and I wanted to build my account from the scratch because if you guys know, you know. Anyways, um, so yeah, I wanted to build an account of mine from scratch from day one to see how strong I could really get for the first part. And on top of that, all of my friends in Region One quit. And this game is, regardless of whether of how much I like clearing content or hard content or not, it is a social game, and without people to play with, the game gets pretty boring pretty fast. So yeah, that's why I don't play Region One, and that's why I'm like kind of bored in RR because of like the content. There's not really anything to do once you kind of finish your daily sus weeklies, and yeah, so there's that. Um, and then it's like the character progression is kind of alt based. Like if you want to farm shells, you want to farm those guardians, you want to farm all these things, you know, it's like, yeah, you can like spend or something, but even then, like the free to play upgrades, which are more between level 90 to like 100, really most of your upgrades are going to be the free to play upgrades because if you spend, you're probably going to max out your stuff pretty early. A lot of the free to play upgrades that like Minerva and stuff that come from these events, these are things that you have to like farm with alts for and stuff. Like a normal player is probably not just gonna like finish out all of these Minerva shards super fast and things. Or if you're gonna run as silver stars, you need silver stars. You're probably gonna want to run a silver star guild to farm up your silver stars because the normal player isn't really gonna want to spend on silver stars because if you're spending on silver stars, you know, you're kind of just wasting your money. You're spending on silver stars of all things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it feels like to progress as well. You're kind of almost like if you really want to progress, you kind of it feels like they're kind of putting you in a bubble where you need to run alts because there's shell event, things won't sell in the market. You know, you put all these things in the market and they're not selling. Why aren't they selling? Nothing's selling. You gotta buy them with alts, and then it just feels like the alt life is kind of forced onto you to really progress the way you want to progress, which I'm also not a fan of. And I think that's part of the reason that I'm burning out is because I've been in a solo guild, not really socializing as much as I used to. A lot of things are just kind of adding up into that. So yeah, those are some of the reasons that I am just not really enjoying RR. And I do think that there are fixes for most of these. I do think there are fixes, and I'm not really going to sit here and talk about the fixes or how. But yeah, I'm just kind of bored because there's not really much to do. Like in EU RR compared to EST RR, there is way more in social. You have 3 server groups socially. So boom, you have 3 server groups that you can play with now. In terms of competitiveness, you have EUR, which is slightly ahead of RREU, which is always going to mean that even if you whale, they're probably going to be like in a similar level or above you, just because they're a little bit like that, little bit ahead. So boom, there's that. There's more people to play with because there's more servers. Like their servers are going to have a steady influx of people, supposedly steady influx of people. I'm being very generous when I'm saying it like that, but there's going to be a steady influx of people who are going to still be playing because they're going to be making new accounts on the EUR server, or not the EU, the INTL servers. So like it's like EU kind of just does everything better than EST. And when you really look at them side by side comparison, EST just sucks. Like in the nicest way possible, EST just kind of sucks right now. And that's like how I feel about the game right now. At the end of the day, I still think that TW is near and dear to my heart. I love this game, and I do still enjoy certain things. Like I do enjoy Starfall, I do enjoy Gate of Time, but again, it's like they're kind of just Starfall is the only thing that you can really do all the time. But even then, it's like you're gonna hit a cap eventually. Like you're gonna not be able to improve further for like a while until you either buy a new card or buy a new card or buy a new card. You know what I'm saying? Like you really won't be going up in Starfall once you hit like a certain limit. And there's like the BR limits and stuff. And so Starfall is like it's good, but it's not perfect. And then there's Gate, and Gate is amazing for like the first 5 seasons is when it's a challenge, and then once you start one-shotting everything, it gets a little bit boring. But the speedruns are fun, but you're just kind of one-shotting everything, so it's a little bit boring. But it's still fun to speedrun and work with the team and coordinate to see what times you get. So I think that Gate and Starfall are still like the best contents, but even then they're still kind of flawed in their own ways. And Purify is like the worst mechanic in a game. So yeah, that's kind of why I haven't been very motivated to play and where I'm at. And I've been playing a lot of Blue Protocol because of this. Because in Blue Protocol, despite my overall thoughts on the game, I think the game is like a 6 out of 10, and I'll talk about that in another video if you guys are interested in those type of videos for that game. But despite all that, I don't feel like I need to burn myself out to play the game to progress my character and just challenge content. Like the content scales pretty decently, and I can always just kind of do something like AFK farm mobs or something and know that I am getting something that can improve my character in the future or helps me, or something. And it's not. I don't feel like I'm just doing dead. Like in Tales of Wind, I feel like there's a dead time. Like I'm not really doing anything. I'm just kind of here. You know what I'm saying? And if you're in a solo guild, which the game I feel like kind of not forces you into, but it's like it puts you in this bubble where if you want to progress your character at a good rate to be able to keep with the content, if you're not a whale, you kind of need to be a little bit more resource oriented rather than social oriented, if that makes sense. So yeah, but if those are my thoughts on, I know that like this is kind of a ramble and not perfectly put in on my thoughts. Like I might do a stream of Tales of Wind, like Glory Front or something, and I'll talk about my thoughts in the game, and like you guys can ask me questions, or you guys can ask me questions in the comments about my thoughts on things. But that's how I feel right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.